Okay, this is Bible in a day, in a year. Bible in a day, could you imagine? This would be Genesis chapter 28, Psalm 10 and Matthew 10. So continuing on in Genesis 28. So Isaac called Jacob, and blessing him, gave him this charge. You must not marry any Canaanite woman. Go at once to Padan Aram, to the home of Bethuel, your mother's father, and procure a wife from the daughters of Laban, your mother's brother. May God Almighty bless you and make you prolific and so numerous that you may become a company of peoples. May he bestow the blessing vouchsafed to Abraham on you, and likewise on your descendants after you, that you may take possession of the land in which you are now only an immigrant, which God gave to Abraham. So Isaac sent Jacob away, and he went to Padan Aram, to Laban, the son of Bethuel, the Aramean, the brother of Rebekah, the mother of Jacob and Esau. When Esau discovered that Isaac had blessed Jacob, and had sent him off to Padan Aram to get a wife there, and on blessing him had charged him not to marry any Canaanite woman, and that Jacob had obeyed his father and mother, and had gone to Padan Aram, Esau realized that his father Isaac disliked Canaanite women. So he went to Ishmael and married Mahalath, the daughter of Abraham's son Ishmael, the sister of Nebaioth, in addition to the wives that he had. Leaving Beersheba, Jacob set out for Haran. Reaching a certain sanctuary, he spent the night there, for the sun had set. He took one of the stones of the sanctuary, and using it for a pillow, he lay down in that sanctuary. He had a dream in which he saw a ladder set up on the earth, which its top reaching the sky, and angels of God were ascending and descending on it. And then the Lord stood over him and said, I am the Lord, the God of your father Abraham and of Isaac. The land on which you are lying I am going to give to you and your descendants. Your descendants shall be like the dust on the ground. You shall spread to the west, to the east, to the north, and to the south, so that all races of the earth will invoke blessings on one another through you and your descendants. I will be with you and guard you wherever you go, and bring you back to this land, for I will never forsake you until I have done what I promised you. When Jacob woke from his sleep, he said, The Lord must surely be in this place, and I did not know it. He was awestruck, and he said, What an awesome place this is! This can be nothing other than the house of God, and at the gate of the sky. Accordingly, he called the name of that sanctuary Bethel, house of God, whereas the earlier name of the city had been Luz. When Jacob rose in the morning, he took the stone which he had used as a pillow, and setting it up as a sacred pillar, he poured oil on top of it. Jacob then made this vow, If God will go with me and watch over me on this journey that I am making, and give me food to eat and clothes to wear, so that I come home safely to my father's house, then the Lord shall be my God, and this stone which I have set up as a sacred pillar shall be God's house, and I will give to thee a portion of everything that thou givest me. And that ends chapter 28. So let's go on to Psalm 10. And I think Psalm 10 continues the psalm of the wicked shall be overthrown. Psalm 10. Why dost thou stand afar off, O Lord, and hide thyself in times of need? The wicked in his arrogance consumes the poor. May they be caught in the schemes which they have devised. The wicked sings the praises of his own desires, and the robber curses and rejects God. The wicked in the pride of his countenance does not seek him. All his thought is, there is no God. His ways prosper at all times. Thy judgments are on high out of his sight. As for all his foes, he puffs at them. He says to himself, I shall not be moved. Throughout the ages my steps will not be in distress. His mouth is filled with curses and deceit and violence. Mischief and wrong are under his tongue. He sits in the lurking places of the villages. In the hiding places he murders the innocent. His eyes lie in wait for the unfortunate. He lurks in secret like a lion in the thicket. He lurks that he may rob the weak. He robs the weak when he draws him into his net. And he bends over, he crouches, and the unfortunate fall by his mighty men. He says to himself, God has forgotten, and he has hidden his face. He will never see it. Arise, O Lord. O God, lift up thy hand. Do not forget the poor. Why has the wicked despised God and said to himself, Thou wilt not search out? Thou seest, for thou dost look upon trouble and vexation, to give them into thy power. The unfortunate leaves himself to thee. Thou hast been a helper to the orphan. Break thou the arm of the wicked and the evildoer. Let his wickedness be sought and not found. The Lord is king forever and ever. The nations will perish from his land. Thou hast heard the desire of the meek, O Lord. Thou dost set my mind. Thou dost set thy mind. Thou dost pay close heed, so as to do justice to the orphan and the oppressed. That man who is of the earth may never strike. That man who is of the earth may never again strike terror. And that ends Psalm 10. And now let's read Matthew 10. Then he called his 12 disciples to him and gave them power over the foul spirits so that they could drive them out and so that they could heal any disease or illness. These are the names of the 12 apostles. First, Simon, who was called Peter, and his brother Andrew, and James, the son of Zebedee, and his brother John, Philip and Bartholomew, Thomas and Matthew the tax collector, James the son of Alphaeus and Thaddeus, Simon the Zealot, and Judas Iscariot, who afterward betrayed him. Jesus sent these 12 out, after giving them these directions. Do not go among the heathen, or to any Samaritan town, but proceed instead to the lost sheep of Israel's house. And as you go about, preach and say, The kingdom of heaven is at hand. Cure the sick, raise the dead, heal lepers, drive out demons. Give without payment, just as you received without payment. Do not accept gold or silver or copper money to put in your pockets, and do not take a bag for your journey, nor 2 shirts, nor shoes, nor a staff, for the workman deserves his food. Whatever town or village you come to, inquire for some suitable person and stay with him till you leave the place. And as you go into his house, wish it well. If the house deserves it, the peace you wish will come over it. But if it does not deserve it, your blessing will come back upon yourselves. And where no one will welcome you or listen to you, leave that house or town and shake off its very dust from your feet. I tell you, the land of Sodom and Gomorrah will fare better on that day of judgment than that town. Here I am sending you out like sheep among wolves, so that you must be wise like serpents and guileless like doves. But be on guard against men, for they will give you up to their courts and have you flogged in their synagogues, and you will be brought before governors and kings on my account, to bear your testimony before them and the heathen. But when they give you up, you must have no anxiety about how to speak or what to say, for you will be told at the very moment what you ought to say. For it is not you who will speak, it is the Spirit of your Father that will speak through you. One brother will give up another to death, and a father his child, and children will turn against their parents and have them put to death. You will be hated by everybody on my account, but the man who holds out to the very end will be saved. But when they persecute you in one town, make your escape to another. For I tell you, you will not have gone through all the towns of Israel before the Son of Man arrives. A pupil is not better than his teacher, nor a slave better than his master. A pupil should be satisfied to come to be like his teacher, or a slave to come to be like his master. If men have called the head of the house Beelzebub, how much worse names will they give to members of his household? Do not be afraid of them, for there is nothing covered up that is not going to be uncovered, nor secret that is not going to be known. What I tell you in the dark, you must say in the light, and what you hear whispered in your ear, you must proclaim from the housetops. Have no fear of those who kill the body, but cannot kill the soul. You had better be afraid of one who can destroy both soul and body in the pit. Do not sparrows sell two for a cent? And yet not one of them can fall to the ground against your Father's will. But the very hairs on your head are all counted. You must not be afraid. You are worth more than a great many sparrows. Therefore, everyone who will acknowledge me before men, I will acknowledge before my Father in heaven. But anyone who disowns me before men, I will disown before my Father in heaven. Do not think that I have come to bring peace to the earth. I have not come to bring peace, but a sword. For I have come to turn man against his father, and a daughter against her mother, and a daughter-in-law against her mother-in-law, and a man's enemies will be in his own household. No one who loves his father or mother more than he who loves me is worthy of me, and no one who loves son or daughter more than he loves me is worthy of me. And no one who will not take up his cross and follow me is worthy of me. Whoever gains his life will lose it, and whoever loses his life for my sake will gain it. Whoever welcomes you welcomes me, and whoever welcomes me welcomes him who has sent me. Whoever welcomes a prophet because he is a prophet will have the same reward as a prophet. And whoever welcomes an upright man because he is upright will have the same reward as an upright man. And no one who will give the humblest of my disciples even a cup of cold water because he is my disciple, I tell you, can never fail of his reward. That is so beautiful. I hope you have an amazing, marvelous day at having read that, because that really means that whoever blesses you because you are the Lord's child, they will be blessed as well. I thank you so much for listening. Have a great day.